Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we're going to see International Accounting Unit 3. The first which we are going to see is special issues in international accounting. About the issue introduction, okay? The business or a international accounting houses with a parent company. In one company has its own currency, its own legal framework, an inflation rate or other words a price changing rate. So when a goods and services is a transfer from the host country or a branches subsidiaries globally, this price is commonly known as a transfer price. So this is the main thing which issues especially issues faced on the international accounting. So it may be a political economic lies has been important influence accounting in these five countries. So these are the accounting special issues. So mainly the issues was in on Jan 2005 all publicly listed a company with the European Union, okay, started using the International Financial Reporting Standard, means IFRS. So this is written by the International Accounting Standards Board, means IASB, okay. Some 70 other countries have also adopted IFRS. So in April 2005 the US and EU came to the basic agreement to mutual accepts IFRS and US generally accepted accounting principles, which mean GAAP, okay, GAAP. So thereby creating a roadmap towards truly global accounting standards. So this is known as special issues in international accounting. And then next we're going to see is these developments are important on three accounts. How the special issues developments are based on these three accounts. Mainly it means the first one is whereas accounting standard setting has a previously been task of national authorities from the private or public sector. So this process will now be managed internationally by a London based organization, the US state of Delaware, and mainly financed by a big four accounting firms, whereas thus witnessing a transfer of regulatory authority from the national global and the many cases. So the wide of recent corporate scandals, it is puzzling that accounting regulation apparently can be entrusted to private organization. So this is the main the first account in developments. The secondly, the case of accounting standards. How the accounting standards case. So it should be fairly unusual since the US is finally willing to accept the foreign standards. Although they had resisted on all earlier calls to harmonize their gap with the international standards. So this does not only contrast and widespread perception that equates globalization with the Americanization, but also offers a remarkable contrast to a US, the move by the US to bring its own regulations more in with the international standards. So even more surprising if we take into accounts that there are considerable difference between the principles and the rules based on the systems in the US. The third accounts which we are going to see is we will not only witness a change in a mode of regulation but also in its substance. So traditionally there have been considerable differences within the content of accounting standards. So even with the OECD world, okay. So accounting standard in continental Europe traditional tended towards debtor interest. So this is the third development under special issues. The next which we're gonna see is these three over introduction to special issues. So how the special issues introduction? The mainly it has a political dynamics of international accounting standard setting. So these are the dynamics. The first one is and the implication of adoption means IASB. Okay, the business and the policy professionals also highlighted significance of a global accounting standards. So this issue of a business and political is devoted to a system study. So all four articles deal with one common theme, namely recent attempts to set global accounting standards. So still each of the contributing focuses on different empirical aspects. So and is written from the slightly different theoretical perspective, Tony. So he demonstrates the crucial role of two types of authority that are becoming increasingly important relative to the public authority that the traditional has been only recognized type in an international affair. So mainly private and technical authority are linked not through the ensure one of the other. So but rather though a process of political functional differentiation involving transformation of multifunctional units into a set of more autonomous units. So these standards committee from its beginning until its breakthrough and transformation towards the IASB, Indian. Okay, he demonstrates how an epistemic community finally succeeded in the establishing itself as an important regulator. So by creating broad-based conditions with the important international organization, the most important national regulator is the US Securities and Exchange Commission. So in this process, the epistemic community was very much supported by both structural and temporal changes in global financial markets, which include Asian financial crisis. Under this Asian only we are Indians. So next, the contribution is focused on a more recent history of IASB and the particular its relationship with the US regulatory authorities. So, drawing on a social theorist developed in international relations, she demonstrates how another crisis caused by massive corporate scandals of Enroll as well as the the rather unusual policy shift of the US government towards the far more receptive. So, theory that emphasizes the influence and scope conditions on a patterns of governance, her research suggests that private sector international institutions often quite weak in relation to the leading states, find that they have relatively more influence in times of uncertainty or crisis. So finally, James Perry and Andrews and take a political economy perspective on a current accounting standard setting. This argued that the process not only a signal major shift in the mode of governance towards private authority, but also in a substance of what is being governed. In a political economic terms, the most significant change in IASB brings accounting an increased reliance on a market values. That means fair value accounting. So this accounting paradigm represent the financial perspective on a business operations. So this demonstrates that this perspective is matched by a process and structure of international accounting standard setting based on a network analysis of IASB committee membership. This is the introduction of a special issues. And then next we're going to see is objectives. Objectives of special issues. The mainly objective has the objective means the special issue which is going under this international accounting. So mainly known as first objective is to examine the major factors influencing the development of accounting practices in different countries. The first one is to examine a major factors influencing the development of accounting practices in different countries. And then second one, to examine the global convergence of accounting standards. Third one, to explain how companies account for foreign currency transactions and translate foreign currency financial statements. And then fourth one, to discuss different forms of performance evaluation of foreign operations and how foreign exchange can complicate the budget process. Then next one is to explain how arbitrary transfer pricing can complicate performance evaluation and control. And the next one is to introduce the balanced scorecard as an approach to evaluating performance. This is evaluating performance. Okay, these are the objectives of international accounting. The next which we're going to see is consolidation accounting. So mainly under consolidation. So it is the main thing. The consolidation or consolidate is a nothing is a combine assets and liabilities, that financial items of two or more entities into one. So in the context of financial accounting, the term consolidate often refers to the consolidation of financial statements, where in all subsidiaries report under the umbrella of a parent company. So this IFRS means all the international financial reporting standards, means IFRS, all the IAS and the interpreters of the IFRIC, means International Financial Reporting Interpretations Committee. Okay, this is mainly specifically reported that the IFRS have been applied in a consistent manner to all the periods presented in these documents. The financial statements have been prepared on the basis of conventional history, cost principle. Okay, so these cost principle based on except for the measurement of certain financial assets and liabilities, including the derivative instruments where the application of the fair value principle is mandatory. Okay, under next one, used for a consolidation purposes are those prepared by the said financial statements that have been reclassified and adjusted to the comply with policies. So next we're going to see is format of consolidated financial statements. So which means the consolidated statement of December 31, 2011 were approved by a board of directors of holding company. So the format which goes under below. First, this FA syllabus examine principles of contents. So it examine principles of contents. Okay, which means IAS 27. It is IAS 27 separate financial statements. IAS 28 investment in associates and joint ventures. And the next one IFRS 3. It means business combinations. IFRS 10. It is consolidated financial statements. Financial statements. So this syllabus not cover the joint ventures because IAS 28 is not applicable to associates which is covered. So this article focuses on some of the major principle of consolidated financial statements that our candidate must be able to understand and gives example of how they may be tested in objective test questions. So it does not attempt to cover every technical aspects of consolidation, but to give candidates to look that they need to prepare for the style. So this parent subsidiary relationship identified IAS 27, it defines a consolidated financial statements as the financial statements of a group presented as those of a single economic entity. So a group is made up of a parent and subsidiary. The illustration which we are going to see next. The first one, they said 80% from the parent to subsidiary. So this is the illustration 1. Based on this, it shows how a parent company has a control over the subsidiary company. So parent company has the control over the subsidiary is 80%. So at the paper of FA, it assumed to control existence if the parent company has more than 50%. So the share that is giving more than 50% of the voting power. So however, there are examples where a holding is less than 50 or other shares. So the parent is the main thing which having 80%, the holding or voting power. Okay, it has a 80% of a parent company. So this is the main thing. So under this, the mainly, however, there are example where a holding of less than 50% of ordinary shares can still lead to control existing. So this 10 states control arises when the investors, means the parents has, the first one is a power over the investee. Yes, if the parent is having 80%, then they have the power over the inventories. Investee, subsidiary. Okay. The second one is exposure or rights to variable returns from its involvement with the investee. So how the involvements will be. So exposure to rights, variable returns, and investee, and the ability. The third one is the ability to use its power. The power means parent to subsidiary, 80%. Okay. So over the investee to affect the amount of the investor's return. How the investor's amount will be returned. So these are the parent to subsidiary 80%. Okay. Under this, the power may be evidenced by all or some of the following. It may be evidenced by all or some of the following. So under this, the power over more than 50%. More than 50% means voting rights of a virtue or agreement with the other investees. And then the second one, power to govern the financial and operating policies of subsidiary based on their agreement. Third one, power to appoint or remove a majority members. They can appoint and remove the majority members, means a board of directors. Okay. Then last power they have means the power to cast the majority of the votes at meetings of a board of directors. This is the last thing. So a typical OT may describe number of different investments and you would need to decide if they are subsidiaries. So that is if control exists. If control exists, they need all power in the same from parent to subsidiary, that is 80%. So once if the parent is having 80% more than the subsidiary investment, the subsidiary's weight is only 20%. So parents has a power for the subsidiary. So this is the illustration 1. Second illustration which we gonna see is, they have given some investment details in the companies. Okay, that Greenco, okay, Greenco owns the following investments. The Greenco have the Violet Co 80%, Amber 25, Black 45%. So they have this is under equity, and non-equity. Violet Co don't have the non-equity. Amber have 80%, Black have 25%. So this is the example. The question is, Greenco has appointed 5 of the 7 directors. They have appointed 7 directors of a Black Co, means Black company. Okay, so which of the following investment are accounted for the subsidiaries in the consolidated accounts? How they will appoint the subsidiaries? So there are options of Violet only, Amber, Violet and Black, all of them. So for answer, let's consider each the investment in turn to determine if control exists, if the same control exists, and therefore if they should be accounted for as a subsidiary. Then we'll move on one by one. Okay, the first we're going to see Violet Co. So by looking at the equity shares, the Greenco has a more than 50% of voting shares. So that is 80% of equity holding. So this gives them control, and therefore Violet Co is subsidiary. So based on the Greenco is nothing. They don't have. So while under this Violet Co, Greenco invested 80% equity, non-equity nil. So 80% equity is the main thing. They will get the main. Okay, according to the Greenco. So in this, Violet Co is subsidiary, Greenco is parent. Okay, the second one you see, the despite of making majority of non-equity shares, it has majority of non-equity shares. These do not having voting power. So these do not having voting power, as Greenco has only 25% on the equity shares. So they do not have the control. So therefore Amber is not a subsidiary. You see, in Amber, Greenco invested 25%. Amber has 80% in non-equity. Based on this, the Greenco invested only 25%. It is a less than a 25%. So less than a 80%, means non-equity. So after this, the Greenco will not have the voting power in that. So based on this, the Amber Co is a main thing. Who is not subsidiary? It is a parent company. In Violet Co, Greenco is a parent company. In Amber Co, Amber is a parent company. And finally, Black. We're going to see, by looking at this percentage of equity shares, you may incorrectly conclude the Blackco is not subsidiary. Why? Means it has a 45, Greenco invested, Blackco has 25. So by this under, they have given, see, Greenco has less than half of the voting price. It has a less than half. Okay, because 50% is a voting they have the majority over the 50%. So in this, Greenco have only 45%. So it has appointed 5 of the 7 directors. Effectively they have a power, ability to use that. So they affect the decision making the company, which will impact the returns on the made. So this should be make you conclude the Blackco is subsidiary. So under this, Blackco is the subsidiary. So therefore the correct answer is C. So which is Violet and Black. They asked the question is, following investment are accounted subsidiaries in the consolidated accounts. What are the subsidiaries they need to get? If it is Violet or Amber or a Black, Violet and Black. The same thing they had asked. So answer is a Violet and Black. Violet and Black company have these both are subsidiary accounts. And next illustration we're going to see is, actually this is a pink company acquired 80% of other company ordinary shares from 2020 or 22, like that. Okay, in December 2022, exact from the individual statement. They have the individual statement, means current assets 50%, 30, same for other. Okay, current liabilities 70 and 40, 42. So as a result, trading during the year, okay, the pink core receivables place balance included an amount due to the scratch rate of for $4,600. So due to the some amount, okay. So what should be shown as consolidated figure for receivables and payers? How it should show the receivables and payers. This is the receivable and payables, okay, account. Though for a question they have asked what should be shown as consolidated figure if it is in a receivables and payable. But the condition is PINCO receivables balance included an amount $4,600. So for the receivables they have 80, 75, 40, 74, 75. Okay. For payables the same thing which has they invested. Okay. From the question we can see PINCO has a control over the SCAR because PINCO has the power of 80%. So it has control in over the SCAR. So this should mean that you immediately consider adding together 100%. So PINCO's balances cash balance to reflect the control. So however, this intra-group balances at the year end need to be eliminated as the consolidated accounts need to show the group of signal economic entity. So the group statement of financial position should may include amount owned or owning entities. The PINCO shows receivables 4,600. Then the SCARCO individuals must be corresponding the payable because if it's a PINCO receivables, the SCARCO should be in a payable. So where these balances are eliminated, the consolidated figures are become. So for receivables, they've already given 50,000, okay, 50,000 and 30,000. This is a receivables. Under this receivables, they need to reduce the 4,600. Okay. For payables, they need to reduce 4,600. So final the answer is 75,400 for receivables. For payables, 1,07,400. Please, if you have any doubt, you can text me. I'll explain. Or you can call me in these illustrations. Okay. So therefore, the correct answer is D. These are the question answers. Receivable and payable options. So correct answer is 75,400, 1,07,400. This is the answers. Okay. So why would not select answer C, which is incorrectly adds 100% of a PINCO the parent. Okay. So by this, the parent and only 80% of a SCARSET subsidiary. Okay. Although PINCO owns 80%, so it controls 100%. So consolidated financial statement reflects the control, not the ownerships. So by this, it would be fundamental mistake in any consolidation questions to ever prorate subsidiary statement of financial position where there is less than 100% ownership. Okay, this was the illustration 3. And then next, under consolidation, in the illustration 4. This is based on adjustment for unrealized profits. Lastly we have seen receivables and payables, right? So this is adjustment for unrealized profits. The question is a Purple Co acquired 70% of a voting share in Silverco. So Purple is a parent, Silverco is a subsidiary in this. Okay. The following extract: revenue, cost of sales, gross profit they have given in this. Okay. So under this next mainly we known as the Purple. Okay. Purple Co. Okay. Purple Co had made sales over the silver during the year of 5,000. So it has some, these are the additional. Okay. So Co had originally purchased the goods cost 4,000. So half of these items remained in the inventory, Silverco at the same end. So what should be the consolidated revenue for the year? So it has given what should be the consolidated revenue. How the revenue will be. So the answer is, the options are 1,04,700, 95,000, 1,08,700, 1,04,200. So main we should consider, even though this question acquires an exact consolidated statement of profit and loss. So the principle is still the same. Illustration 3. Same thing. Consolidate the groups of, if it is a single economic entity by 100% line. So therefore, B means 95,230 would not be selected as incorrectly adds 100% of a Purple Co and 70% of a Silverco. So the other adjustment that requires careful consideration is the intra-group trading in consolidated statement of a profit or loss. So we must always consider only two steps. The first one is has there been any intra-group trading during the year. So irrespective of whether the goods are still included in inventory at the year end. So do any of the items remain in the inventory at the end of the year? So in this question, $5,000 of a sales has been made from the Purple Co. selling to Silver Co. So this must be eliminated irrespective of whether the items remain unsold at the year end. So this because the consolidated statement or a profit or loss needs to show revenue and cost of sales which reflects group performance with external non-group entities. And basically the second step here is to identify the provision for unrealized profit. Means although we refer this provision, it is not a liability but an adjustment to the asset inventory. So for this, Purple Co has made a profit of 1000 calculated as a revenue. Means okay, 5000 minus cost 4000. So only half of the items remain in the inventory. So the inventory value overstated by half of the profit, that is $500. So note, the consolidation account is saying that the group has been a profit of $500 on which item which have been sold on the third party. So effectively, if you did not make an adjustment for a PUP group, would be recording a profit of $500 selling inventory itself. So the inflation of the value of inventory held by the group in the statement of positions and the profit in the statement of a profit or loss. So the adjustment would be cost of sales debtor to inventory. It's a credit, $500. However, by reading the question stream carefully, you will see that eliminating the unrealized profit means a red herring. So as we asking for a consolidated revenue. So therefore, the consolidated revenue calculated as 79,300, which is the revenue, plus 29,900. This is also revenue, minus 5,000, which they have already made 5,000 rupees in the Silver Co. So it has to be minused. Based on this, it is an amount of 1,04,200. So the correct answer is a D. The next illustration, how the goodwill is calculated. Okay, how the goodwill will be calculated. For a goodwill, even though we only own 80% of a share capital, the full goodwill method brings 100% of the goodwill on the consolidated statement of financial positions. So this is consistent with the treatment of other assets and the concepts and control. So this is why we need to include the fair value and non-controlling interest in our goodwill calculations. Though in this mainly the red company acquired 80%. So blue acquired 40%. The $1 ordinary share capital for consideration $3. Okay. So what should be recorded as a goodwill on acquisition of Blue Co in the consolidated statement? So this is the questions. Under this, they have given the goodwill can be tested in variety of different ways. So always start by the reading the questions requirement carefully to determine what is being asked for. So this is a specific OT questions. If we consider each component in turn, the first thing to identify is how much the parent company has paid to acquire control over the subsidiary in these questions. So Redco acquires control by paying $350 cash per share. So note, Redco has only acquired 80% of Blue Co shares. So consideration transferred to 80% into 40,000. That is 32,000 into $3.50. So which it is $1,12,000. Okay. Had a question asked for the cost of investment that would be recorded in the parent book. This would be it. Hence the inclusion of a discharger. So secondly, once we have identified the amount of consideration transferred to the acquire control over the subsidiary, the fair value of non-controlling interest needs to be identified. So under this they have given some questions. Goodwill can be calculated. The question is for consolidated transfer. The same thing I have I shown in the slides. Illustration 5. Okay. See that in this they are asking for a goodwill. how the goodwill will be calculated. So the correct answer is A. So how means answer, if the answer goes a B. If you need to know, please go through the material which I have given. Okay, if you need to know the sums. So note, answer B ignores the Redco. Only acquires 80% of the shares. Calculate cost of investment correctly. Incorrectly means, okay, 40,000 into $3.50. So it has 1,40,000. Therefore, goodwill of 1,40,000 plus 30,000 minus 1,25,000 is 45,000. Okay, if the answer is C is incorrect. Despite calculating the cost of investment correctly as a 1,12,000 plus non-controlling interest 30,000 equal to $142, 42,000. So it is incorrectly deducted because 80% into 1,25,000 as a share net asset acquisition giving goodwill is 42,000. So by this class is over, and next we see in next class.